Hey everybody, this is Mitch Freeburn, strength conditioning coach for the Belleville Senators, and this is Fit with Mitch Mondays. On this week's episode, we are going to be working on aerobic interval energy system work. On a previous episode, we talked about anaerobic intervals, which is max effort, brief duration with more rest in between bouts. Think of that anaerobic max effort as working on the peak of your mountain of performance. So you're right at the top of what you can output. In this case, aerobic intervals are working on the base, elevating what you can sustain longer term. For aerobic intervals, you can really choose a multitude of different options to accomplish the same goal. You can use a bike, you can use a treadmill, you can use a stationary rower. It's whatever you have and available to you to accomplish this task. For today's purposes, we're going to utilize a bike. The one thing I like about a bike is most of them have a digital readout screen which allows you to monitor your intensity, which provides you a little bit of feedback of where you should be once you find that training zone. The easiest way to monitor intensity for this type of training is by using a heart rate monitor. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, that's fine. We can figure it out other ways. The easiest way to start is to use the generalized equation 220 minus your age, which will give you approximately your maximum heart rate. From there, we want to take between 70 and 80% of that number, and that gives us our heart rate that we want to try and maintain for the duration of our workout. Again, if we don't have a heart rate monitor, we can get close enough to get to our stimulus using the physiological responses. When you're training in that heart rate zone of 70-80% of maximum heart rate, you want to feel your heart rate is elevated, but you still want to be able to maintain conversation if somebody was standing beside you. So, depending on previous fitness level or the energy demands of your sport, the duration can extend from anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes, again, depending on your prior training history and what your sport requires you to maintain. If your sport requires shorter, harder bursts, then we wouldn't have to necessarily focus on 45-minute sessions. However, if you're a marathon runner or longer distance track athlete, then the longer you could sustain these aerobic intervals, the more this drill will benefit you. So just to tie up all our loose ends here, going back to our mountain metaphor, aerobic training builds that base of the mountain of what you can sustain throughout time in your sport. The higher you can get your aerobic intensity, or the more comfortable you are functioning at a higher level, the longer you're going to be able to sustain and the better you'll be able to recover from those brief high output bouts. Aerobic training has lots of health benefits for the general population, but in terms of our sporting performance, that mountain metaphor is a really great analogy to summarize how this can be incorporated into your training and the benefit you'll be getting from it.